Welcome back to the channel, Exile. 3 days ago we uploaded a video showing how good Harbingers can be in this Legacy event. It seems to be catching on. Today a video from Extreme dropped, so any and all information that I'm going to tell you guys now is subject to change, as it always is. Harbinger scarabs went up after I posted my video 3 days ago. They went down again, now they're going up again. It is very typical when you post a currency strategy that things shift. That happens. Having said that, I still believe it to be well worth it, and that's why we're now presenting a min-maxed version of the last video we did. 27 Harbinger bosses per map. Absolutely wild. For me personally, a 54 chaos investment per map. And yes guys, we get that back. Now you might be wondering, okay, what has changed? And where is my PoB? Because under the last video, that was one of the things you guys were asking for most. Can I have your current PoB? Now, a couple of things I want to first show you guys the upgrade path that I've had over the last couple of days. Because if you look at this build, you're like, F you, Larry. We're not going to be able to make this. You got your headhunter, you got your this and that. I'm out. No, don't be out. What we do is we start with a Bitter Dream. 9 link, and we're going to be using Storm Brand, we're going to be using Swift Brand in there, we're going to be using added lightning damage. That is your 9 link. Then we use an Impulsor, and all you're going to be putting in there is you're going to be putting Wrath in there and Haste in there. That's it. Don't start too heavy. You don't even need the Herald of Ice for the chaining, because Impulsor chains upon itself right now. Because shocked enemies you kill explode, dealing 5% of their life as lightning damage, which cannot shock. Until you realize that all lightning damage gets converted to cold damage. And our cold damage can shock. We then spread to other enemies and we chain explode. So in the showcase footage that I'm gonna show you guys a little later in this video, you will see it all chains upon itself. So that means a lot of power you're going to be getting from just having a heat shiver here, getting resistances and cast speed on your rings, get some life on there as well. Getting resistances, cast speed and life on a basic amulet. This one's the upgraded version obviously of that. And then it's just a heat shiver. It is a Bitter Dream. And it is a scepter like this, which I was using in my offhand. This scepter. So that's a scepter I had together with a Bitter Dream. And in that scepter I had my trusty Summon Stone Golem with minion life. And with meat shield support as well. It's probably hidden by the overlay, but that's what was in there. And this is how I did it for quite some time until I had enough scarabs to set up a team run with everyone. That is kind of how we built it up. My build was really scuffed, actually until yesterday. And yesterday we started making changes. We added a helmet like this, and we can craft those ourselves. It's just Reforged Crit. Until you get hypothermia. In my case, I got hypothermia plus nearby enemies take increased elemental damage, which was a Shaper mod, and that means an Orb of Dominance could elevate one of the mods. Now, lucky for me, that became the crit mod, and I've been using this helmet. It had some nice life on there as well. Pretty good helmet. Today, we've upgraded that to this. Increased area of effect is nice, conk effect is stronger there, but just know there is an upgrade path here, and you make enough currency to follow that upgrade path. That's why I'm showing you guys this, and not just the end PoB, because that's a big jump for a lot of people. So just know, neither this, nor something like Haunted by Tormented Spirits, none of that is necessary. You can actually run this on the Impulsor, rings with cast speed, life, elemental resistances, amulet cast speed, life, elemental resistances, a leather belt with just enough life, elemental resistances, something really basic, boots like this, some movement speed, because keep in mind the relic cache we have doesn't even have movement speed. Didn't have any of that, didn't have the Malachi loop, I was just dual wielding, and everything else was just for life and resistances, and cast speed. And that's how we kinda did the previous video. Let's go to the strat, right? So what about the strat? What has changed? How do we get to 27 Harbinger bosses? Now what we're doing here guys is we're doing a combination of a lot of things. Before I get into the numerical value of the Harbinger bosses, there's a couple of things I want to talk about in terms of supplementing some extra profit. Now, on average, you gain about in chaos, just chaos, back roughly what you put into the map. In terms of your scarabs and that kind of stuff. If it's not working, let me know that it's not working. Find me either on Twitch, find me on Discord, leave a comment in the channel and I will help you figure out what's going on and why it's not working. So what did we add to the map? We added a Mirror of Delirium. Now before you go, Simulacrum's only 25 chaos, I know, but you get 100 to 200 splinters per map if you do the Strand map. You get a little less if you do things like Cemetary, which I'm doing right now. But that means that is about 8 to 9 chaos just in the splinters. There's an option for delirium orbs. There is an option for other drops, currency drops, all that kind of stuff that you can get. It's just a little extra for which you do absolutely no trouble at all. It's just there, right? So that pays for 1 or 2 of your scarabs if you get 200 splinters. Now the other thing that we're doing here, which I think is really important, is that we are lowering the cooldown of our Harbingers. Harbingers have 107% increased cooldown recovery rate. We get that on these small relics right here. What does this do? If these Harbingers spawn the monsters, and you clear the monsters, then there is a little time in between where they're just kind of floating around before they spawn other monsters. That time gets lowered by that modifier, meaning they spawn their monsters faster, you kill them faster, you gain more loot faster, more kills per hour, higher experience. As you can see, we are on the way to level 100 really easy by just doing this content. And if you happen to have a headhunter, which is fairly cheap this time, that means way more headhunter stacks and just even more insanity. If you don't yet have the power to deal with that overwhelming influx of monsters, you may want to forego this for now. This is just the end version of min-maxing this. Now the other thing, obviously, we want to convert those shards into items. It is not guaranteed, but there is an option for that to happen. Last video we've made, we've shown that we can drop full orbs by dropping a full fracturing orb. It doesn't happen too often, usually you just get the shards from it, but it is nice to know that there is that option to convert something to a full orb if you do indeed drop it. The other thing that I have added, which is not mandatory at all, and it really hasn't provided me with the currency I hoped that it would, is I added strong boxes on these Conqueror idols. And we have 6 additional strong boxes with a chance to convert that to currency strong boxes, in this case Arcanist strong boxes, which is the name on that. And then we have the currency items from strong boxes in your maps are duplicated. I added it hoping that it would provide us with the straight duplicated divines. It's just not happening. Probably you'd need to roll the strong boxes for that, or to do the strategy a little bit more hybridized, but I want to focus more on Harbinger, so this isn't something you guys need to replicate. I would just say make sure you have as many Harbinger bosses as you can, make sure the cooldown recovery is as high as possible, make sure you have around 100% chance to contain additional Harbinger, and around 100% chance for these Harbingers to be converted into a powerful Harbinger boss. You do that, you're set. So how do we get to 27 bosses? Let's do a count here. We have 2 here, Harbinger craft. 5, 8, 11, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, and 2 of these for number 27, the additional chance for an additional Harbinger. Now keep in mind guys, 100% chance means you gain an additional Harbinger, 200% chance doesn't mean you gain 2 Harbingers. It just doesn't work that way, it's just 1 bonus Harbinger, for a grand total of 27 Harbinger bosses. So let me show you guys why we are now choosing Cemetary as a new favorite map over Strand. The reason for that is, once again, do not make them rare guys, the reason for that is everything clusters nicely together in a much smaller space, generating faster kills, faster headhunter stacks. If you're still running without a headhunter, you might want to engage these bosses 1 at a time or 2 at a time, but I want to engage them all at the same time. So let's do an example map and show you guys just how a map like this looks. Now, as you will see, we will have the guaranteed daily mirror. And what we're going to do is we're going to be careful. If you don't have a headhunter and you still run the budget setup, this is how you will be playing. You will be moving around these Harbingers, not through them, and they will pick up your grounds. Just go around them. Right, and going around them, now I get janked into it, I don't get hit by them, and all of a sudden I don't need as many defenses as I would if I go through them. Now keep in mind, with the headhunter, I would say once you hit about 40 stacks, which is going to be really fast, as you can see in the top of the screen, this is when you don't care anymore. Now keep in mind, I've got no armor, no evasion, no block, and no suppression. This is a pure offensive speed build, and that's all it is. And now we are just hunting to gain headhunter stacks, just to gain that loot. We are using the Omen of Amelioration, it is always in our inventory. And the idea behind that is, it's it's going to prevent us from losing all experience on that way to level 100 if we should die. Now we're going to kill our first pack here. Already 67 Headhunter stacks, which is absolutely providing us with an insane amount of power. But if you don't have that Headhunter, you can still do this. Don't pick this map, don't engage these monsters by just running right into them, but plain and simply circle them, like you saw me do in the first video. And that is a swing, and that is an immediate 8 fracturing shot. So people thinking that isn't working, this video is completely, you know, uncut. You can see from the time in the bottom corners of my screen that that is the case. We are dropping them quite often, guys. People that are saying, oh, I've done 20 maps, nothing happens. Look, dry streaks exists. I'm not saying that is a myth. I'm just saying you drop them far more often than you think you do. And not just that, guys. We also double them. So you get 4, it turns into 8. Now, with the price of one of those fracturing orbs sitting at around 3 divs, that pays for 3 more maps, right? Outside of everything else that we drop. So I'm just showing you guys this, like I do on stream, same story, and just kind of show you, okay, you know, this is what to expect, this is how hard it is, how dense it is, how crazy it will be for your PC, because it will be, and just show you guys what to expect in a map like this, if you juice it to this point. Now, when I say juicing, do not rule your maps rare, don't go for 8 map mods. All you do is make sure you have those 27 Harbinger bosses and just force out as many of these little puppies as you can, and the corresponding drops. Now you gain about 2.5 to 3% experience on level 99 to 100, so leveling is going to be an absolute enjoyment with this setup. And yeah, just look at this. Now we're just slowly coming back. We're also triggering the strong bosses. If we do die, it is what it is. Like, I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but it's not as common as you think it is. That's another swing, and that's another 8 fracturing shots. Now, okay, let's be honest here, guys. Now it's turning into a Giga Chat lucky map. I'm used to dropping the shards, but in a showcase video, dropping 16 in one map, yes, admittedly, a little lucky. But not uncommon. I will show you guys a drop showcase in a little bit that shows that that is not as uncommon as you think it is. We might have 1 or 2 left. We don't. Nope, that's it. So we're done. Like, this is the map. And that's pretty quickly done. Now we end the Delirium. We see what we get from that. Not really that much, right? Because, like I said, Cemetary doesn't poop that many splinters, but there's a Delirium orb there. And now we can loot. Now, why do we go Cemetary over Strand? For another reason. We've got that Brother's Gift thingy going on that we can use. Or the Brother's Stash. One of those 2 cards gives you like 5 div. Have we dropped it yet? Nope. But, you know, man can dream. And the thing is, everything seems to be more pushed together, if that makes any sense. So you got everything pressed into one place. And it just feels like there's less of a movement going on in between looting versus things like Strand, where there's a lot of backtracking and a long, kind of small, narrow way to go. City Square, somebody said, is probably also a good way to go. I haven't tested the City Square myself yet. I think you might get quite a few of those Harbingers stuck in, what's it called? You get these Harbingers stuck in like a corridor or some shit, right? Where it's a small, narrow alley, and then you got 5 of these bosses and you have to walk through them. You might not have the character to do that, and you die. So I always recommend you guys go for a somewhat open situation where you have a place to maneuver around the entire Harbinger. Because if they get stuck in a corner and you have to approach them, it could get dicey. Alright, let's finish this map completely. We don't really have to worry about detonated corpses. I still always move away because you never know whether there's going to be some kind of an ice nova. And like I said, we have no defenses at all. And it's how we've been leveling. Right? Even without the Headhunter, we've been leveling just fine because the experience in here is just wild. Like, it just is. Now let's take a look at how much just raw chaos we have outside of just the crazy lucky drops. Because that wasn't planned. The idea was to just show you guys just the rough averages of what happens in this map, and not to get almost a full fracturing orb. Now we are selling these ancient orbs for about 33 to a dev. Keep in mind guys, as more people do a strategy, your prices for scarabs go up and your margins for returns go down. That is just what it is. There's no way around that. That will happen. And so, you know, the numbers you see here and what we are now showing might very well change at some point. Which is just the nature of the beast when you share currency strategies, right? That is just how it goes. I think we may have everything here. And what do we have, guys? Remember when I told you you have about 54 to 55 chaos per map that you spend? And remember that I told you you usually get that back in chaos? Here is the proof. That is 56 chaos, which is a little bit more chaos than I spent in the map. And the rest. Now when I say the rest, this is 1/6. It's not really that crazy. 7 annulment. Right, we got a couple of these Grand Eldritch. But this is where your profit really happens. The fracturing shards, a little bit of the Exiles as well. They go for like 18, 19 chaos a pop. So it doesn't look like much, but it is. And you can run them really, really fast once you've got the power to do this. Will this rival some of the crazy strongbox strategies, the 20 div an hour, that require 50,000 divines and relics and idols? And no, those strategies will beat this. But this is about the fun of the run, the chaos, the chance of having that mirror shard. To me, that's what makes this fun, guys. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a thumbs up. I'm going to show you guys just a few more highlights of the last couple of days. I'm also going to show you guys a print screen of a buddy of mine who actually dropped his mirror shards in here as well with this strategy. Hope you enjoy this. If you feel it's not working for you, let me know. Let me know under the video or in Discord. Find me on Twitch, wherever, and we will see what we can do to help you fix it. For now, guys, have a great evening, and I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. See you later, guys. Oh, swing, 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 swing!
What is he doing?
He's beginning to believe.